and welcome to this first broadcast. This is the live broadcast of President Thabo Mbeki's first State of the Nation address. I'm Fuyo.
And I'm Tracy going in. Yes, good morning and welcome, and thank you for joining us. We're here at Stalplein, outside Parliament here in Cape Town, and we're certainly forming centre stage today, aren't we, Fuyo, with the pomp and ceremony of today's proceedings taking place all around us.
And the energy here in Cape Town, and particularly in Stalplein, is phenomenal. There's lots that's happening. We begin at the very top. Cape Town gave to the world Table Mountain, the pride and joy of the mother city.
And yes, what a beautiful day it is. Bright sunshine, hopefully no wind. There is restricted air traffic space taking place above in the skies, although there are helicopters flying around, so it is a little bit noisy here today. You can hear the bands in the background, people singing, and really a feeling of great excitement.
Okay, there we have the choir, and the choir, the Rehoboth Age Exchange Choir. They've been entertaining us for the last half an hour to about 45 minutes. Beautiful voices, and the gentleman singing in front there, a gentleman who's got a voice not too distant from that of Luciano Pavarotti or Placido Domingo.
Beautiful sound, setting the tone here of the opening of Parliament. And former President Nelson Mandela arrived a little earlier. We watched him and his wife Grata arrive, and great excitement, even though he's not president any longer.
Well, the energy here has been really tremendous, and the preparations, we were here very early in the morning at about 4 o'clock to do morning live. And what you're seeing now is the National Assembly building. Of course, everybody is going to be arriving and getting in there to pay attention to what President Thabo Mbeki has to say about the state of the nation.
And we're going to, we know that President Thabo Mbeki will address Parliament at 11 o'clock this morning, and then we're going to continue our live broadcast after the speech to bring you a reaction of opposition parties, as well as an interview with Deputy President Jacob Zuma.
All lined up for you, and what you're seeing now is the Air Force Band from Pretoria. Well, time now to take a look at Ronel van Zyl, looking at what we can expect from President Mbeki's address, which coincides with the 10th anniversary of the historic speech which saw the unveiling of the Liberation Organization.
Concerns so many people is a better place than South Africa would have been if we did not take the initiative and made the quantum leap which we took on the 2nd of February 1990.
In a short while, Mbeki will take his place behind that same podium from which de Klerk surprised friend and foe. And he will offer the government's plans to resolving those problems plaguing post-apartheid South Africa. He will also use the opportunity to reflect on the government's achievements since the election. Mbeki is likely to recommit government to fast-tracking social delivery and raising living standards. He will flesh out plans to eradicate poverty, create jobs, speed up privatization and boost investment. Crucial to this is creating the right economic policies and climate. And that's expected to be the main thrust of Mbeki's State of the Nation address. Finance Minister Trevor Manuel's recent criticism of traditional economic strategies has triggered speculation of a shift in government thinking. But economists don't expect any big bang announcements.
We believe what we will see is an acceleration of the implementation of GEAR. We don't anticipate any change in policies, but rather we're entering a period of decisive implementation.
More details are likely to emerge in the budget speech in 2 weeks' time. Mbeki could well announce steps to assist small and medium businesses. And there could be more tough talking on the beleaguered South Africa-European Union trade deal.
This is a major issue because it's been a huge investment throughout this country, not only in the foreign policy community but also in the trade community, about bringing this to success. And it also goes to the much wider issues of Mbeki's philosophy about trade liberalisation.
Mbeki is expected to expand on government plans to fight poverty, the HIV/AIDS pandemic, corruption and crime. Despite the successes of the Scorpion and assets forfeiture units, rampant lawlessness is still one of Mbeki's biggest challenges.
The crime rate remains very high, and of concern is that our economic climate is still such that crimes of property will remain high. The violence in the Western Cape, particularly the urban terror, has not been resolved and is a serious cause for concern.
The overburdened justice system and bloated civil service could also come under focus. On the foreign policy front, Mbeki is expected to refer to the escalating conflict in southern and central Africa and South Africa's position on peacekeeping efforts. Today's State of the Nation address comes at a time of growing tension within the ANC-SACP-COSATU alliance. This week, the Labour Union took to the streets to protest job losses. Unemployment remains above the psychological 30% barrier.
This action really is an attempt to address the power imbalance that is in the alliance at the moment, saying to government, we are a serious partner and we want to be taken seriously, but you have to listen to us. We've got clout and we'll use it if we have to.
Mbeki will be hard-pressed to maintain the balance of keeping all constituencies happy while looking out for the alliance. A revision of protective labour laws could upset COSATU even more. And an unstable labour market is bad news for foreign investment. Bold moves on privatisation could also offend unions but win the support of business. It's 6 years since the ANC assumed power and South Africa's political transition has been completed. Pressure is mounting on Mbeki to live up to the promise.
We are a nation at work to build a better life.
For many, the better life is slow to arrive. But the building blocks are in place, and all indications are that the Mbeki era will cement this ideal.
Excitement that is in Cape Town. I'm sure you can hear the drums as well that are going on around here. We've got people lined up next to the red carpet where President Thabo Mbeki is going to be walking down from his office at Taines in just a moment. And you can see the drummers.
Yes, that lineup there ready to welcome President Thabo Mbeki, and it's quite representative, isn't it?
Very representative. There's people dressed in Venda clothing, Machelo Abudi. There's also people dressed in Xhosa dress, traditional Xhosa dress in Pago.
Well, we have Sean Jacobs here of IDASA, the Institute of Democracy for South Africa, and you're going to help us understand the significance of the State of the Nation address today. Sean, hello and welcome. And let's hope you can hear us with all the noise in the background. No earth-shattering announcements today?
Well, I think it's President Mbeki's second State of the Nation address. Last year he set out clearly what he would be about in the next 5 years: the economy, crime and security, joblessness, and poverty alleviation, particularly rural poverty. And I think today's speech will build on that, particularly in reviewing how far we've come since last year. I know it's just 6 months, it's very early, but I think those will be the main themes.
Sean, and we've seen just walking up on the red carpet, and they're walking now on the carpet towards Taines. It's the Speaker of Parliament, Freely Chinwala, who was with us on Morning Live today, and the Chair of the National Council of Provinces, Naledi Pandor. They're going to fetch President Thabo Mbeki from there. Just explain to us, what is this whole ceremony all about? Walking up there to go and get President Thabo Mbeki, and what does it signify?
Well, what happens is the Speaker and the Chairperson of the NCOP, as you said, goes over to Taines. They fetch the President. The President then goes down the red carpet towards the entrance of Parliament, where he takes a salute. He then goes into the Assembly, where the members will rise to welcome him. And and then he'll be introduced by the Speaker to make the State of the Nation address.
Sean will be sitting with us throughout the entire procedure this morning. Well, we do know that the economy is going to feature quite strongly in the State of the Nation address, and we're now going to cross to our economics reporter, Kim Clutie. Morning, Kim. Kim, what are the expectations that economists are expecting from today's State of the Nation address?
Good morning, Tracy. I'm battling to hear you, but I think you'd like to know about the economic prospects for the economy, how things seem to be moving as far as economists go and what they're expecting from President Mbeki's speech. Well, as I think it was mentioned in Renel's report, the strong focus is going to be on the economy. I think economists are looking for more job creation, more potential for investors to come here, foreign direct investment in South Africa, and they'll also be looking for some movement on privatization. They've been pretty firm on privatization. They'd like to see the economy being deregulated. So I think that's something they will be looking quite sharply for. But obviously job creation is the #1 priority in South Africa, with unemployment now standing over 30%. Just another aspect that you may be interested in is that COSATU has, obviously they're a little bit at odds with the government over various things. They have been holding protests, which are going to be continuing throughout this month. And they're unhappy about what many economists want for the country. Privatization, they say, could lead to loss of jobs, as well as all the impact on foreign direct investment, they say won't help the people themselves. In fact, they say since GEAR was put in place, and especially over the last year, jobs have been lost. So that's a great concern of theirs. So that's as far as COSATU is concerned. But I think most of the economists are said looking for foreign direct investment, more job creation. They'll also be looking for some movement on rural areas, which are very impoverished, perhaps some poverty alleviation programs there very strongly. I think President Mbeki's speech will focus on that. That is where it's needed. Job creation is needed most in those rural areas.
Well, thank you very much to Kim.
Yes, indeed. Kim Clutie predicting the economic outlook from President Thabo Mbeki's speech, and just a general assessment of what happened in the past few weeks, COSATU and movements in terms of creating strikes and mobilizing to ensure that job losses are reduced and come down in this country. What you see there is a lady who's dressed in traditional Afrikaans Voortrekker outfit. And she's part of that.
We have a traditional healer right next to her from Langa. And it really is, as we were saying a little earlier, representative. And there we have the choir singing to their heart's content there. The Rehoboth choir, the Age Exchange choir, and they're certainly going full steam ahead. Well, it's quieting down behind us a little while.
Well, Tracy said earlier that we had taken center stage. In fact, it's the African drum that has taken center stage in this opening today. The drum has been going since we started with the broadcast. Sean, let's just bring you back in here and talk a bit about the things that have happened leading up to the State of the Nation address of President Thabo Mbeki. The issue in Uitenhage at Volkswagen South Africa, that strike by NUMSA members. How do you think that and other labor activity will influence President Thabo Mbeki's address, especially when it comes to labor-related issues?